Hey everyone, welcome to Mayday Live. My name is Gamel.
And my name is Cherie. And welcome to Mayday. It's International Workers Day, and we are celebrating the power of workers.
Exactly. We'll be live streaming until about 2 p.m. and we're gonna have lots of great activities and people coming to speak to you all today. Our goal today is to raise up workers' voices and build solidarity. I'm gonna tell you a few names that people are gonna be here. To start off, we're gonna have Fayetteville PACT. We're also gonna have the NC Poor People's Campaign with us. We're gonna have Poder NC, Fed Up, UE 150, the Southern Workers Assembly, the NC Medicare for All Coalition, the Duke University Press Workers Union, the Duke Grad Students Union, the Student Action With Farmworkers, the Sunrise Movement, the People's Budget North Carolina, and NC Raise Up and the Fight for 15 and the Union.
We want to give a shout out to everyone on the internet land that is watching us today. We have people from Facebook, we got Instagram, we have Twitch, we have YouTube, TikTok, and Twitter. We are everywhere today.
Oh yeah, please comment. We want to see everyone on. We want to see where you guys are coming from. Let us know if you guys are in any unions. Let us know what sides of North Carolina, if you're outside of North Carolina. Please comment. We'll be reading your comments throughout the day. With that said, I have a special person behind me. He's kind of painting right now. I have Ricky. He'll be painting this whole time, this lovely mural. We'll be asking him later on, the significance of this mural. And with that said, we'll be going around this table pretty soon. We'll be reading your comments. So if you have any questions or you want to let us know anything, please share your stories on why you think 15 is needed right now. So as we turn around, just watch Ricky paint his mural. We'll be getting ready to have speakers come up with us soon. Thank you so much.
Let's see what we have on the screen. We have Fayetteville PACT here. I see another NC Raise Up saying hello.
Oh, they're already here on
We got some hearts. We got some hellos.
Okay.
Who else do we have?
Let's see. Are they
Who
just
else is on today?
Hello, Catherine. Hello, Greg. How you guys doing? Glad you guys are on right now. Hello. Yeah, we're just getting started. We got people coming on the way. We have a powerful day for you guys today. Start commenting on why you guys think we need 15 now. Tell us the stories that you guys have been through. Please share. We're going to be reading throughout this whole day. So why do you think the 15 is needed, Cherie? Give them a little glimpse.
15 is needed to me because everybody deserves to be able to afford to live.
Exactly. I think that's one of the main important reasons. Everyone should have a living wage. Everyone should deserve to live. No one should be struggling, especially, in the richest nation in the world. So yeah, tell us your reasons. We'll be reading why you think 15 is needed. Why do you think unions are needed? Yeah, let's see who's commenting right now.
We have Trayvon from Tennessee. Okay,
Tennessee. Shout out Tennessee.
We also have someone from Charlotte here.
Okay, Charlotte. What else? See, we got Fayetteville representing a lot today. Okay, we got Durham, of course. Durham. Solidarity from Raleigh. We got NC Medicare for All Coalition. Thank you all for being on. Thank you guys so much. Hey, TikTok fam, I know you guys are watching too. TikTok, Cherie, read out some of the TikTok comments out there. Oh, well, while she's looking up, we was having something going on with the TikTok. But yeah, while she's doing that, thank you all for being on. As if you're just getting on now, we have a whole scheduled day. We'll be streaming till 2 p.m. We got people from Fayetteville PACT. We got people from Fed Up, Poder, Southern Workers Assembly, and so much more. This is being hosted by, NC Raise Up and the Fight for 15 in the Union. And if you're just getting on, like I said, we have Ricky in the back painting this lovely mural. He's going to be telling us the importance of it. So yeah, so with that said, we're gonna have an amazing guest speakers coming up, and we'll be around reading your comments. Thank you all.
Okay, the first person we have is Devin. Welcome, Devin.
Thank you.
Come in and tell us where you're from.
My name is Devin. Like she said, I'm from Durham, North Carolina. I'm a worker leader, and I am proud of PC right now.
And the floor is yours whenever you're ready to start.
Well, I just want to let everyone know today is May Day, and today is all about worker power. And what does worker power mean to me? Worker power means to speak up and share your story. So my first time sharing my story was actually at a Fight for 15 rally. I spoke up about my sexual harassment situation that I was dealing with at my job at the time. And when I finally spoke up, I was afraid to speak up about it because I was afraid that I would lose my job. But when I finally spoke up about it, I realized that I wasn't the only one going through that same exact situation. And when I did speak up, it made me feel stronger. It helped me find my voice. And I was proud of myself because of the things that I was speaking up for, to end sexual harassment, to get $15 an hour. And that's what made me find my voice to speak up about that. So that's why it is so important, and it's such an important thing for me to speak up about or to share, for workers to actually speak up about problems that you're facing at your job. Because when you do that, you realize that you're not the only one going through it. And that's exactly what organizing is. And Fight for 15 is really big on organizing, because you have to come together with your other co-workers, talk and find the same problems that you're going through, and organize, because you're the only ones that's going to be able to solve the problems that you are all facing at the jobs that you're working. So, and that's exactly how Fight for 15 started. A few fast food workers got together, found out that they was having the same problems, and they were tired of them, and they decided that enough was enough. And now we have a global movement. So in conclusions, don't be afraid to ever speak up about the problems that you're facing at your job. It's so important that you do. And if there's one question that I want to ask you all, is there a problem right now that you're facing at your job that you feel like you should speak up about? You can let us know in the comments. Any wage theft, any sexual harassment situations that you're dealing with. We want you to speak up and let us know what you're going through, because we are here in solidarity with you. And like I said, and like one saying that we say all the time here at Fight for 15, forward together, not one step back.
That was great, Devin. And we have a comment that says, it helps us find our voice, and it's so important. And thanks for sharing your story. From Austin Wason.
Thank you.
And you can look through it too, right? You can scroll through it.
We also, do you have anybody from the Facebook?
Yeah,
Solidarity,
the
yes.
Facebook comments. There you go.
Oh,
Yeah.
Hi. Thank you. And so don't be afraid to speak up. Let us know your stories. We are here for you. We have your back. And with our voices together, we can get through all of this that we're going through. Please don't be afraid to ever speak up and speak out.
we have Rotoda. I'm not sure. I may have said the name wrong, but we have Canadians are rooting progressive Americans on. You got this, and it's the natural direction to go.
Okay,
We
Canada.
also got you some hearts coming through.
Okay, Canada coming through with the Canada. Thank you. In solidarity with our Canadians.
Mhm.
And I have a question to ask you, Devin.
Yes.
What does worker power mean to you?
Worker power means to me to speak up and just don't ever be afraid to speak up, because that's where our power comes from. That's what worker power is: sharing your story, finding problems with your other co-workers, and that's how a revolution could be started. And that's how Fight for 15 started. Workers speaking and talking to each other and finding that they are going through the same problems. Now that's why NC Raise Up is just not in America, it's across the world. So you can see what speaking up does.
Definitely. And do you make less than 15 at your current job?
I work 2 jobs. One job I do make 15, and the other job I make under 15. So yeah, but I have to work 2 jobs just to make food. So that tells you something.
And what would you do if you have one job that gave you what you needed to survive?
Exactly what you said. I would be able to survive with just that one job. I wouldn't have to work 2 jobs and be up I work almost every day. I work Monday through Saturday. I wouldn't have to do that if I worked a job that would pay me enough. But I have to work 2 jobs. I have a house, I have a car. All that stuff costs money. It's not free. So I would just live a better life.
That is definitely not free. You have a question?
No, I mean, thank you, Devin. You've been sharing. We got the comments flooding in. Saying we have a Lori saying everything starts from realizing that you are not alone. Others do not know they're not alone until one speaks out. You know, Devin, you're speaking out right now, so thank you so much for speaking out. We have other people just flooded in from TikTok, Facebook, all other social medias, Twitter, Instagram, all of them, Twitch. Yeah, thank you all for being on. Keep commenting. Show Devin some love. You know, it takes a lot for a person to come out here and share their story. Let's just keep commenting, showing support, things like that. Thank you, Devin, for sharing.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you so much. So yeah, everyone, thank you all. Thank you all, everyone, for being on right now. So yeah, we got other things scheduled for today. We got Ricky still painting in the back over here. If you're just joining on, thank you for joining. I do want to let everybody know that's on this call right now. Please save this date. May 19th, there'll be a day of action. Please save it. Y'all will have more information on that coming as we go. But yeah, so as I say that, thank you all for being on. We're going to have our next speaker come up right now. Thank you.
Hi, welcome. Come on in and have a seat.
Hello. Hi, everybody.
Can we get you guys' name and who you're with?
Yeah, my name is Victoria, and this is Omar, and we're with Student Action with Farmworkers.
All right. The floor is yours and you guys are ready.
Thank you so much. So hi, everyone, and thank you so much to Raise Up for organizing this fantastic event. I'm Victoria, this is Omar. We're going to talk a little bit about a really important group of workers, farm workers, whose labor actually feeds all of us on a daily basis. They pick our fruits, they pick our vegetables, they pack our meat. So these workers really influence our lives on a daily basis. And so I'll introduce myself a little bit more. Again, my name is Victoria. My last name is Wankwodo, and I work as a grassroots organizer with Student Action with Farmworkers. We've got our mask on right here, which is a nonprofit based here in Durham. Our mission is to bring students and farm workers together to learn about each other's lives, share resources and skills, improve conditions for farm workers, and build diverse coalitions working for social change. So that's why we're here. Raise Up is all about that diverse coalition working for social change. And then Omar, if you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, of course. Hi, everyone. My name is Omar Ibarra. I was the policy intern for SAF, and I'm currently a Master's of Public Health student at UNC Chapel Hill. And we're going to tell you a little bit more about farm workers.
Yeah, thanks so much. So the very first question we get asked whenever we talk about farm workers is, who are farm workers? And actually at SAF, we've got a pretty broad definition. So we're talking about people who labor in fields and greenhouses, in packing sheds, animal meat production, mushrooms, grains, and finally those who work in food processing. And so the first farm workers in this country, as we should all know, were enslaved Africans and their descendants. And they weren't the first people to work this land, right? They weren't the first people to produce food from this land, but they were the first group to be exploited on a mass scale for that agricultural labor. And then after the Civil War, farm workers were poor white and Black sharecroppers. There's also a history of Chinese, Filipino, and Japanese farm workers in other parts of the country. And then finally today, the majority of farm workers are from Mexico, Central America, Haiti, and Southeast Asia. here in North Carolina and all throughout the United States. So you might have noticed a pattern in that short history. Over the centuries, farm workers have been members of groups that have been systematically exploited, marginalized, and discriminated against, right? These have been racial minorities almost always, and they're usually people who are either people or the descendants of people who were victims of US colonization, imperialism, or US intervention in other countries. That's why we've got so many people from different countries who are doing this work right now. And I mentioned this pattern because the racism embedded in the structure still has really deep impacts today that I'll talk about in a minute. Farm workers and a group with very similar demographics in terms of race, domestic workers are treated differently under the law, actually. They, because the majority of farm workers were Black, when the major labor laws of the 30s were passed, farm workers are excluded from the National Labor Relations Act and also the Fair Labor Standards Act. And for this reason, farm workers do not have guaranteed national minimum wage or overtime pay. That makes farm work one of the lowest paid occupations in the country. They also are not protected by joining a union. So that is really bad because of the exploitation that they face. You can also start working in the fields as early as 12 years old or even younger with a special waiver. So child labor is still permitted in this field, which is just absolutely atrocious if you ask me. And it's crazy because 85% of our fresh fruits and vegetables are handpicked in this country, and also dairy workers and meat packing workers also give us food on a daily basis, and they're not protected when joining a union. One of the most dangerous jobs in the country, one of the most lowest paid jobs in the country, and child labor is still legal. So our progress actually on this issue is really interesting because it lies at a really interesting intersection of immigration rights, racial equity, and also environmental rights. I'll let Omar talk a little bit about that, but just to give you some scope, currently there are about 150,000 farm workers living and working in North Carolina, along with their descendants, and some of those, as I said, are children, literal children. So I'll let Omar talk a little bit more. Yeah.
Perfect. One of the first things I also want to mention, as Victoria noted, there are different kinds of farm workers throughout the country. One of these includes meat processing plant workers. And several, all across the country, there are plants within those states. I myself am the son of farm workers, especially farm workers who work in meat processing plants, both in Oklahoma, South Carolina, and Kansas, and a few other states. And the reason I mention that is because industry has consistently put profits over farm workers. And so they have consistently not allowed them enough social distancing space. People who work in meat processing plants have been exposed to COVID disproportionately all throughout the pandemic. And of course, as we know, when President Trump was in office, he signed an executive order to where plants couldn't shut down. And some states even passed laws to where farm workers and meat processing plants actually had to work faster, even through the pandemic. And so one important thing to note is that in meat processing plants, workers were disproportionately affected. They also, meat processing plants were heavily associated with not only COVID-19 cases, but also a lot of COVID-19 deaths. And that is because workers would often get COVID and then they would spread it to their families and of course their communities, but that is because they did not have enough protections within the plant. And so one of the things I did want to also mention and as a way to take action is actually that in March, a bill was reintroduced into the US Congress. This is called the Asuncion Valdivia Heat, Fatality, and Prevention Act. This act was actually named after Asuncion Valdivia, who was a farm worker himself in the fields who actually passed away due to heat stress. His employer actually, rather than call an ambulance, actually had his son come pick him up and take him home. And on the way home, Asuncion actually passed away. And this is because there's no actual federal requirement to protect farm workers out in the fields. So not only is there a need to pay them more, but there is also a need to keep them safe as they put food on our tables. And so it is long past time for us to give back to them through at least protection and also increased wages for the work that they do.
Thank you so much, Omar. I totally agree with that statement. And one of the reasons it's so important for us to know what's going on with farm workers and to support and fight against these injustices is because farm workers have actually been doing that for centuries, right? Enslaved people rebelled. There are organizations in North Carolina that are still working. The names Cesar Chavez, Luis Huerta, everyone knows those names, Fannie Lou Hamer. Farm workers have been fighting for their rights for centuries. And so I just wanted to highlight some organizations in North Carolina that are working for these things that are worker-led or have worker leaders in them. There's the Farm Labor Organizing Committee, which is actually a union for farm workers. There is the Western North Carolina Workers Center, which organizes poultry plant workers in the western part of our state. And there's the Episcopal Farm Worker Ministry, which does such great work with farm workers in like Sampson and Johnson counties. So we just wanted to highlight those organizations that have farm workers that are always talking about this. And we think it's so important that we demand a space at a table for people who fill our tables every single day. So thank you so much for having us, and we can look at the comments or answer any questions.
We do have a question. Our question is, how can we stand in solidarity with farm workers?
Yeah. You wanna talk about that?
Yeah. So one of the ways we can stand in solidarity with farm workers is first, one of the things here in North Carolina that we can do is the North Carolina State Assembly is actually right now attempting to pass SB 101, which is a bill that is anti-immigrant. It is a bill that would allow ICE Customs Enforcement, Immigration Customs Enforcement to racially discriminate against immigrants, discriminate against people they think are immigrants, and detain them for long periods of time, and potentially hand them over to ICE, who would then potentially deport them. And of course, this is a very anti-immigrant bill. And one way we can send solidarity is by going to the state legislature, is by calling your representatives and letting them know that you oppose this, and that especially that the governor of North Carolina should veto this bill if it is passed.
That's a great idea.
That's a great one.
Hey, if you guys don't mind, could you guys speak up a little bit? Some of the listeners are having a hard time hearing you guys in the mouth.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we gotta get a good yell going on here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The bill that Omar mentioned, SB 101, there's actually a vigil for that tonight. It's going to be in front of the governor's mansion in Raleigh. If you want to go, it'll be a candlelight vigil with immigrant rights activists. There's going to be a faith leader there. There's going to be a farm worker there talking about how damaging this bill would be for so many members of our communities. Over 50% of farm workers are undocumented. So anti-immigrant bills like this have a really, really negative impact.
Definitely. Well, thank you guys for sharing. If you guys want to look at any of the comments, that are going down, we've seen people, being solidarity with you guys at this moment. So yeah, they're showing some love to farm workers across. Let's see. Rather during workers' assembly saying, give thanks to farm workers. Yeah. Who else? Well, thank you all for being on, and I really appreciate you being here today.
Thank you all so much. Thank you for having us. We appreciate it.
Thank you all.
Take care.
Hey everybody! Hope everyone enjoyed that. Those speakers, thank you for being with us on BAF. So yeah, farm workers are essential at this time. We really need to be in solidarity with them. I do want to let everybody know who's on this live stream. So write this in your calendar. May 19th is a big day of action. We need to be prepared. Big day of action that day. Please, everyone, this is May Day Live. Let's support workers today. Please start commenting. Tell us, why do you think we need a union? Tell us, why do you think we need 15? And with that said, I want to have our next speaker come up. So please, give him an applause from your own homes. Thank you.
Hello and welcome.
Hey
Can you please
everyone.
give us your name and who you're with today.
Yeah, my name's Austin. I use they, them, their pronouns, and I'm a proud grad student worker here at Duke, affiliated with SEIU Local 27, the Duke Grad Student Union. And happy May Day. I'm feeling good.
The floor is yours whenever you're ready to start.
Thanks so much. So today I'm going to be talking to y'all a little bit about the PRO Act, the Protecting Our Right to Organize Act. It's this piece of legislation going through Congress right now that's really going to redefine labor organizing for all of us and has the potential to really level the playing field. We haven't had pro-worker labor reform since our first huge victory with the National Labor Relations Act that sort of set up the ground floor for what organizing looks like in America in your workplace. Obviously, this doesn't fit with everyone. You heard just recently about farm workers and how they're left out of our labor organizing framework, grad students face a similar sort of problem, where every couple of years, depending on who's president, it switches between Republicans who say that us grad students who are doing the teaching and the research of our universities aren't workers, and then sometimes it switches back depending on who's at the head. And so while this legislation wouldn't address that problem, there's other legislation working through that. This PRO Act would give us the kind of foundation that would really take our solidarity up to 11 on a scale from 1 to 10. The kind of things that it would mean for me is that when Duke spends millions and millions of their students' dollars fighting workers' rights to organize, they would have to disclose that, just like they did in 2017 when we fought for university recognition, and just like they're doing right now as Duke University press workers are organizing a wall-to-wall union there. It would mean that as Duke continues to outsource its service work on campus, we could strike and have that strike protected to make sure that their rights and their labor conditions get better. It means that when Duke lies about what a union is and what it means for all of our student workers on campus, they would be held accountable for it. And it would repeal all these awful right to work laws all across the country. It means that whether you're a worker at UNC Chapel Hill or NC State, or you're in the Parks and Rec department at a place like here in Durham, that you could have the kind of union that you deserve, where you can collectively bargain for your rights. And so this wouldn't just help build our union power, it would help us build union power all over. And I want to hear from y'all. What kind of questions do you have? Are you a grad worker? Are you trying to organize your own union? Drop what university you're at in the comments that I'm trying to to read right now.
We also have a question for you too.
Yeah, definitely.
Is excuse me, how can we teach people about unions?
It's a great question. I mean, so I'm an environmental engineer by training. That's what I'm getting my PhD in at Duke. And I had my first semester of being a teaching assistant last semester remotely, which was an experience to say the least. And you definitely have to start with history, but you have to start with critical history, right? The history of labor unions in the US can't be separated from the other aspects of our existence as like a colonial power on stolen land. And we have to be aware of that when we teach history about our unions and recognize what power unions have to really turn that on its head, especially now, and especially with the potential of the kind of protections that the PRO Act would give us. So one thing is the history of unions related to policing. Police have been used very directly to stomp out labor movements constantly, even though they themselves claim to be part of this movement. But I know, and I've seen personally, whether that's Duke University police or Durham police, that they're traitors to our fellow class. And they stomp on our organizing, not working with solidarity with us. And that's why I'm part of a union that really believes in abolitionist work and calling to not only defund, but reimagine and move beyond this really harmful institution.
Yeah, there's a question for you down below in the chat.
Yeah. So the question was from a former an alumni of Duke, and talking about how grad students are really the reason that they learned so much at their institution. And so you can help by like consistently supporting our efforts. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. That's a great way to get involved, get understanding. But ultimately it means building power within your own community. So if that means that you're a fellow worker in your institution, build power with your union there, or join in with other fellow concerned alumni to demand what they need from the university and what workers need from the university. We have some great cross-union efforts at Duke through Duke Workers United, with DGSU, the Contingent Faculty Union, AFSCME Local 77, ETU, and the newly formed Duke University Press Workers Union.
And who would benefit from unions?
Workers, all workers, really. it's and really everyone benefits. Like, that's the thing, is like, even by metrics that like I don't necessarily agree with, or necessarily think we should prioritize, unions help everyone. They make bosses' lives easier, and they make workers' lives infinitely better and give us the power that we deserve.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you being here, and thank you for sharing so much.
Thank y'all.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
Awesome. Have a good rest of your day, y'all. Happy May Day.
Happy May Day. Happy May Day.
Enjoy some food outside of this day.
Definitely.
Oh, by the way, guys, we are having a cookout outside.
Oh yeah, we got a whole cookout outside. You know, it's May Day. We have to support workers, and we're celebrating workers today. That is what today is about. International Workers Day as well. So with that said, thank you all for being on this time. I'm gonna keep repeating this thing. Please put in your calendars. May 19th is a National Day of Action, because May 20th is Shareholders Day. We'll be talking more about this. We need McDonald's to hear that they need to change their minimum wage to 15. It is crazy. People cannot be working for $7.25 at the third largest company or hiring company in the world. Let's change this today. That's what May 19th is about. So please put it in your calendar. We'll be speaking more about that as time goes on. And as for new people who are joining, just want to let you know, today is the day of action. Not day of action, sorry. Today's International Workers Day. It's May Day Live. We're here with NC Raise Up. Behind me, you have Ricky, who's doing this wonderful mural. There you go, he's waving. Yeah, he will be telling the significance of this mural as time goes on. So please comment. Talk about why you need 15. Talk about why 15 is important. And as I say that, our next speaker will be coming on. So please show him some love and clap at your homes again as well.
Welcome. Have a seat and let us know your name and who you're with.
I'm Eshawney Blunt. I'm a part of NC Rise Up, aka 515. May 19th, I will be there, out and about, to show some love. I am also a McDonald's worker. I work at the McDonald's on Avondale. Pretty much a background. I'm 21 years old. I work for McDonald's, where I only get paid $8.20 an hour. So it's kind of hard with doing paychecks and really just realizing like you don't have enough hours to work. So you do overnight, try to get enough hours. But sometimes that doesn't work due to the managers and the corporate. But McDonald's has put us on the front line of so many things during COVID season, without checking temperatures, without a whole bunch of stuff. It's been a whole bunch of stuff. Other things I could talk about with McDonald's, the rate of pay. McDonald's is known for underpaying people. They'll tell you get paid a certain amount, and you don't get paid that certain amount. You check your pay stubs, they'll go in the next day, try to fix it. They make it seem like they did it right. Next minute, they never do it, change it back to the same pay. And then we'll try to talk to the owner about it. The owner doesn't care. So. But McDonald's and all these big corporations have enough to pay $15 a minimum wage. So I don't see why the government is allowing them to pay us $15 an hour. This is not right. And it gets to the point where some days you just think about like how much stress they put on you, and you realize like some days it's not worth it. But some days you just think about like this is my only choice of work, so you have to do what's best for you. So I wonder in the comments, like, are there any McDonald's workers out there? How do y'all feel about working, being stressed, and not having the proper benefits?
Yeah, as comments start flooding in, I want to ask you, what will 15 do for you?
Well, 15, I could really pursue my dream of going back to school, become a nurse. So that was my biggest one. And then take care of my sister and my family.
Definitely.
So, like, with 15, do you think unions should be tied to that, or?
I feel like it should.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I think I agree with you. Like, McDonald's should unionize workers already. It's time, because workers need to be protecting each other at this moment.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, as comments start coming in, you know, is there anything else you want to tell us about, like going through working at McDonald's?
Well,
Like,
going through at McDonald's, one thing I could say McDonald's is hard on is they access do people want to get hired at our job, but we tell them we keep it straight to them. We like, no one wants to work at McDonald's. I'm gonna tell you why. Because for one, y'all underpay people. For two, you're not organized. 3, you're disrespectful. And 4, the store's never clean. If the store is clean, the crew members have to do it, and the crew members have to stay over their time just to do it. And then they'll catch your attitude. And people like, well, you gonna sit there and let them have attitude? Some days I just be like, it is what it is. So.
see, we're gonna look at the comments right now. We have a Raleigh Worker Assembly saying it's not fair that the owners are making so much. I'm paying workers so little. It's not right. They ask, how can we fight?
Well, I'm a part of this organization, Fight for 15. Actually, I don't know if they put the link up or whatever, but you can actually go to the link, or you can subscribe and contact us, and we can get back in contact with you about that. Because there are a lot of people from McDonald's that do want to be a part of it, and I know. So.
Awesome. Well, you know, we appreciate, you know, you sharing your story. Thank you for being here. Like you said, you're gonna be there May 19th. You got Day of Action. So yeah, let everyone know May 19th, Day of Action.
May 19th, Day of Action. Please be there.
Yeah. So hey, we got actually one last question for you
Sir.
before we let you go. So, like, what gives you hope?
What gives me hope? Well, when I first started Fighting for 15, I was scared. I was scared. I did not want to talk. I was nervous. But I got over it because Megan and some other people, they told me like I have a voice, a public speaker voice. So, and I realized like the platform is going up for me. So I just realized it's only right. And people ask me, well, can you speak for this? Can you do this for me? Can you speak out for this? So I realized like I'm a public speaker, and it's only right that I speak up for people that can't speak for themselves. So that's what made me.
Heard. I am with you on the and then they be like,
Yeah.
you can speak. You can do this.
I love being a public speaker for people.
And you definitely do have that public speaking voice.
Yes.
You have the great voice for it.
So, well, thank you, Nashawn, so
No
much.
problem.
We appreciate you. And
Yes,
yeah, we'll be seeing you May 19th.
We will be seeing y'all May 19th. Yes, sir.
You have a good day.
You too.
Everyone, thank you for being on right now as I come walk to this chair. Thank you all for being on today's not May 19th, look at me. Today's International Worker Day. Now put in your calendar for May 19th, Day of Action. I will say this throughout the whole call. It is a day of action. May 20th is Shareholders Day, so we got to make sure McDonald's sees us. We just heard Nashawn say McDonald's treats their workers pretty poorly. So, you know, where are you guys watching from? Put it in the comments. Where are you guys watching from? Put in the chat as well, you know, why 15 is important. And, you know, as Nashawn said, what gives him hope? Tell us what gives you hope. Put it in the comments as well. Yeah, and as we have our next speaker come up as well, I'm going to do it for everyone at this point. Give a virtual applause for our next speaker introducing. Thank you all. I'll be seeing you all soon.
We have Clinton. Welcome. Come in and let us know who you are, who you are. The floor is yours.
Awesome. Good afternoon, y'all. Happy May Day. Let's start off this session right now by sharing out this link with every one of your followers, whatever platform you're on. Send it to everybody you know. Make sure everybody gets on is watching May Day Live with the Fight for 15 and all of our partners. My name is Clinton, and I am with Fed Up here in Durham. I'm also a member of NC Raise Up and a member of the North Carolina Poor People's Campaign. And we're so glad to be celebrating International Workers Day with y'all on this May 1st. I want to talk a little bit about Fed Up and what we're doing here in Durham from the Lakewood Community Center every other Friday and throughout the week. Fed Up is an idea that started on the steering committee of NC Raise Up when Mama Cookie said, people are getting evicted, people are hungry, children are missing school. Mothers aren't making enough money for their families, to feed their families. We got to do something. And we said, we're fed up. We're fed up with evictions. We're fed up with low wages. We're fed up with the lack of good jobs in Durham and across the Triangle and across the country. We're fed up with families being separated. We're fed up with all of the stuff that we're facing. And so the Poor People's Campaign here in North Carolina, NC Raise Up, and Carolina Jews for Justice came together a year ago, last May, and said, we're gonna start this project called Fed Up Food Distribution. And our primary function is we are giving out fresh produce for free to families across the Triangle every other Friday from the Lakewood Shopping Center from 11 a.m. until 1 p.m. Our next distribution is this next Friday. We hope to see you out there to get some food and to join with us. And we're not just a charity, like all the charities that are happening across the country. And we're not just mutual aid either. We know that charity is a method of the ruling class. When we give out food for free, when we give out supplies for free, we're keeping that poverty situation right where it is. We're keeping racism right where it is. Because some people are still gonna have and some people aren't gonna have. We know that the charity model started with Caesar in Rome. And Caesar was passing out coins with his face on it and saying, you know, I'm with the people, I'm supporting the people. And we know that that ain't real. Mutual aid is great, right? Communities taking care of communities. We've always needed to do that as poor people, as poor white people, as poor black people, as poor brown people for the history of people. We've had to take care of our communities. And we got to take it one step further. And Fed Up is going one step further. We're calling Fed Up food distribution a political food distribution. And we say that because we're a project of survival. And what we mean by that is not only are we taking care of our neighbors with some from fresh produce twice a month, but we're also building worker power. We're taking on the systems that we face because we need to have better wages. We need to have a living wage, which in North Carolina would be like $25 an hour. There is no place in this country where a worker working for minimum wage at $7.25 an hour can afford a 2-bedroom apartment for themselves and their family. That ain't right. We're here to say we're fed up with that. And so we're organizing our power together to make demands of the government. We say every time we're gathered with Fed Up that we should not have to do this. We should not have to feed our communities. We should not have to sustain our communities and keep our communities alive. That is the role of the government. And if we don't have a government that's doing that, we need to organize our power to change what we need to get changed. And we need food for all. We need healthcare for all. We need housing for all. All of these basic needs are what we're fighting for on May Day and every day at the Poor People's Campaign, at Fed Up, at Carolina Jews for Justice, at NC Raise Up. You need to join us. So I know lots of people have been talking about how we're taking action on the 19th, and we are. I hope to see you on the strike line as we tell McDonald's pay workers what they're worth. And we want to see you every other Friday in the Lakewood Shopping Center, coming to Fed Up, helping us load up bags. We want to see you every other Wednesday, canvassing with the Poor People's Campaign and NC Raise Up in our communities so that we can build that worker power. And we want to see you on Sunday afternoons when we phone bank our folks at Fed Up so that they can not only receive food, but get involved with the project. And here's how you're going to do that. You're going to go to linktree.com/fedup. You can sign up for everything there. It's right across the bottom of the screen right now. Miles, you're a genius. Thank you for making that happen. Linktree.com/fedup to sign up and join us. While you're there, freedom ain't free, y'all. Food ain't free. It should be. It's messed up that we live in the richest country ever to exist. But right now, food ain't free. So when you go to linktree.com/fedup, why don't you click that donate button? For $5, you can pay for a bag of wonderful food, of fresh produce for a family in need here in Durham and across the Triangle, make that $5 donation a reoccurring donation so that you're donating $5 every month. Better yet, make it a $10 donation. If you do a if you do a $10 donation, you'll provide a bag of food at every single one of our distributions throughout the year. Our project, Fed Up, this project of survival, is completely funded by people like you that are listening today, and our members, our crew, our volunteers, and our recipients who are receiving food. Join us. Put your questions in the chat. I'd love to talk to you about what's going on here in Durham. What do you want to know about projects of survival and Fed Up? But please, please, please celebrate May Day by sharing this post and getting involved in building worker power here in Durham and across the Triangle.
Thank you so much for sharing. As comments start coming in, I guess one of my questions is, how can someone, if someone says, I live in another state, but I want to support, how can I do that? Say that again, please.
Yeah, so if you live in another state and you're really interested in what we're doing here in Durham, go to linktree.com/fedup. Connect with us. Sign up. Let us know your email. Say that you want to volunteer remotely. There are lots of ways to get involved with this project. If you want to support us, you can click that donate button for sure. But there are lots of projects that are doing food distribution across the country. And we love connecting with other food distribution projects and getting to know those projects better, and talking about how we can build power together, how we can all consistently be fed up and fired up as we're building worker power across the South and across the country.
Thank you so much for sharing, Clint.
Yes, awesome. Happy May Day, y'all.
Happy May Day. I'll be seeing you at Fed Up soon then.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. I am back on camera. Let's do it like this so you can see my lovely face. And again, like they said, make sure that we come to May Day. If you can come, feel free to come. And also on May 19th, make sure that you come out. It's very important to come or come to support. Sorry, me and loud is a thing, but it's not. I want to give you a little bit of information. Oh, no. We're going to give our shout out to everybody watching on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And we have our next person. We have Precious coming. Everybody give her a round of applause at your house.
Hey everybody, I'm Precious Cole and I work for McDonald's and I'm also part of NC Raise Up. So basically, I'm just here to talk about two things. One would be how these poverty wages is definitely a mental health issue. And number two, how the success of organizing and coming together can actually do some good. So I'm gonna start off with the sad stuff. So I worked for a $1 billion company about 2 years ago, and I literally was homeless, like had nowhere to sleep, nothing like that. I was going to work every day. I was making these little poverty wages, and then every day I had to decide, am I going to eat or am I going to get a hotel room so I can lay myself down, wash my body, do what I gotta do, And I honestly, I believe that these $1 billion companies need to pay us more because I know that there are people out there that may not have went through the experience that I went through, but I know it's similar or it's close or they are going through what I went through. By the grace of God and my family, that's why I'm here. And, going on to the second part, or organizing and being a union and as co-workers sticking together. So when I got here, I got out at Freddy's. I don't know if you guys saw the news or whatever, but we were on the news. We struck Freddy's, y'all, okay? So background. Height of COVID, everybody's doing what we got to do. We have somebody in the store who management knew had it. They let us work around this girl. And then the next day talking about you guys have to be either you had to go get the test, get that thing stuck up your nose, which hurt, or you had to be out for 2 weeks, no pay, no nothing. We didn't think that was fair. We all came together and we said, no, we're not doing this. We struck Freddy's, my people, me and my people, we walked out that day. And when I tell you Freddy's was shut down, they were shut down at 12 o'clock because nobody came to work. And that is what I'm saying about the power of unions. Like, guys, we can do this. Like, trust me, we can do this because we did it. Freddy's is an example. You know, my question to you guys, honestly, is going to be, how would these CEOs feel 24 hours in our shoes, getting paid what we get paid? I want them to work. No, I want them to do the 2 weeks. I want them to do paycheck to paycheck. I want them to live our lives for 2 weeks, paying us, paying them what they pay us.
I don't think they make it.
I don't think they would make it either.
I think they call after about 4 days and you have to pay them time.
Yes. I don't think they would make it either. I don't even think they could make 24 hours, you know, for people that have to get up in the morning and get on a bus. I don't even think they would know how to get on the right bus.
Yeah,
you know, go to the job, clock in, do the job, you know, deal with the managers and the stress and the customers. Go, you know, clock out, go on a break, even if you get a break, you know, find something to eat while you're on your break. You know, go back, work a couple more hours, get off, get back on that bus and make it home. Feed your kids if you got kids. You got to do grocery shopping, bills, everything. I just want them to do a paycheck to paycheck and live our lives and see what they come up with.
But they might change a lot if they had the opportunity or if they were told they had to.
Right.
They would have a lot of new things.
Yes.
I can personally say that I've seen what y'all did at Freddy's and how they definitely came and told y'all, oh, we're going to give you guys this.
Right.
We're going to do this for you guys. So that was definitely great. And that was very powerful that y'all did that whole walkout.
So it's like, even though I don't work there anymore, because of what me and my coworkers did, basically they get paid if they actually do contract COVID or whatever now. They increase their minimum wage. It's still not enough, but it's, you know, something. And they professionally clean the store. So, I mean, at least they did something. They got rid of, you know, all the bad apples and stuff like that. So I guess they're trying to redeem themselves.
We actually got a question in the chat. It says, no way the bosses could make it in our shoes. Is Freddy's different now? What is it like to work in a place where you and your coworkers have each other's backs?
So like I said, I just did answer, is Freddy's different? So yes, Freddy's is different. Like I said, they have a thing in place that says, you know, if you do contract COVID being working here, you know, we'll pay you for your days off. Like I said, they raised their minimum wage. I still don't think it's enough, but you know, it's a start. And they did professionally clean the store. And then again, like I said, they did get rid of the people that was the problem.
You made all the issues.
Yes. Thank you.
That's great. Yeah, I do have one more question. So, you know, what's happening May 19th?
So May 19th, it's actually a national call. It's a call, guys. We got to do this. I mean, no, I'm not gonna say I feel bad, but I mean, we got to do what we got to do. Enough is enough with McDonald's. It really is. Enough is enough. I will be there. I will be standing in solidarity with all of my McDonald's workers, and I hope to see everybody out there with us. Because like I just said, union power, baby, it works.
And the last question is, what gives you hope?
What gives me hope? Now, my future. You know, things are starting to get a little bit better for me than it was a few years ago. You know, my family, my friends that have stuck by me through all of my drama. Just my future. I just really look forward to my future now. And that's what gives me hope.
That is awesome. And thank you for coming on and talking to the people today. You have a lovely day.
Thank you all for still being on. Thank you so much. I want to give a shout out again to Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Thank you all for being on. Please, write in the comments on why do you guys think 15 in the union is needed. Please tell us where you guys are watching from. Please just interact with us. We want to answer your questions. We want to be speaking with y'all. As for anyone who's coming on, we have a mural being painted right now. Our painters will sigh for a little bit, but yes, this is a beautiful mural. And when time is right, we're gonna have him speak about the significance of this mural. But with that said, please keep commenting as we get our next speaker ready. So I'll be seeing you guys shortly. I'll be having our next speaker now. See you guys soon.
Welcome. If you would please give everybody your names and let them know who you're with, and the floor is yours whenever you're ready to start.
Hello, everyone. My name is Rebecca Barber. I'm on the coordinating committee of the North Carolina Poor People's Campaign. And just a little bit about the Poor People's Campaign, if you don't know, it's a national movement that's really working to fight the interlocking issues of racism, poverty, ecological devastation, militarism, and the false moral narrative. Because we know that racism kills, poverty kills, and sometimes it's through police brutality, but other times it's through bad policies, and that's one thing we're really fighting against. About 3 years ago, actually, the Poor People's Campaign, in partnership with the Institute for Policy Studies, released an audit on poverty, which I brought with me today. And this report really told the stories of people who were on the ground dealing with these issues that are so often forgotten. And what we found is that literally people all across the country were dying because they were being deprived of health care. They were dying because they lived in states that refused to expand Medicaid, which are often the same states that refuse to raise the minimum wage. And it also found that nearly half of Americans could not afford a $400 emergency. And if you can put in the chat, if you know anyone or if you are someone who cannot afford a $400 emergency, let us know, because this is real and we're living through this. And we know that, we fight against this lie of scarcity because we know that we do have the resources to provide for people. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. There's this idea that there's not enough to go around. Things may seem scarce because America is very bad at allocating resources. They may seem scarce because people at the top hoard resources, but that's not true. And so this is why in this campaign, we believe that those who are closest to the problem are closest to the solution. Those who are working on the ground are closest to the solution. Corporations do not have the answer. Stakeholders do not have the answer, but the people have the answer. And so that's why we're working to build a movement where those who are directly involved can help shape the policies. And though big corporations have economists who say that raising the minimum wage is a bad thing and that it's not possible, we know that we have economists in the movement who are saying that it is possible. And raising is not just necessary, but it should be a priority. We know, for instance, that if we simply took a fraction away from the military budget, we could fund healthcare for everyone in America. We can provide housing, we can provide living wages. And not only can we do it, but we should do it. So just put in the chat why you believe we should raise the wage and what policies we need to pass now.
I personally say thank you for that, one thing. And the second thing, I can honestly say that for me, I could not afford a $400 emergency ride.
Yeah.
You got it.
And that's the thing. This report was written even before the pandemic. Now so many other people have fallen into poverty, and it needs to be a priority.
Mm-hmm. I can say for me, it's hard for me to even afford to go to urgent care, let alone having to take an emergency ride to the hospital and then pay for the hospital.
Yeah.
I can honestly agree with that one.
Yeah, and that's one thing we want to lift up. Healthcare is unattainable for so many, especially mental health care. We're living through a mental health crisis right now. So it's absolutely ridiculous.
No, we got a few comments. We got some people saying it's fine. We have Raleigh's Workers Assembly saying America has so many resources, but it's terrible at allocating them. He's 100% that we're there 100% right.
Yeah.
Can you speak about that in just a little bit for folks on like how bad it is that we are the richest nation, but yet we can't even support people.
Yeah, like I was saying before, when we need money for the military, we find it. When we need money to, occupy other countries or even occupy Elizabeth City, North Carolina, we find resources. So yeah, we're just terrible at, finding out what our priorities are. A report also by the Institute for Policy Studies showed that simply by taking a fraction away of the military budget, we could provide healthcare for everyone. That's just a fraction. So yeah.
Thank you. Before we send you off, I just want to ask you one important question. So what gives you hope?
The people and just the understanding, like I was, having a conversation with someone just a few minutes ago, that, we have the power. The people have the power. If we all come together.
That's definitely great.
Awesome.
And I agree. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you.
You have a good day.
Thank you so much for that.
And you did great.
You did amazing. Thank you, everyone that's watching right now. Thank you. Today is May Day Live, International Worker Day. I want to give a shout out to everyone that's watching, from Twitch to Twitter to YouTube to Facebook, all the social medias. Thank you. Please put in a comment on why you guys think 15 is needed. And as well, I'm going to keep repeating it. Put in your calendar, May 19th, Day of Action. May 20th is the shareholders meeting. We got to let these people know that we demand more than $750. McDonald's cannot have its CEOs making millions upon billions of dollars, and their workers are only making $725. It's insane. So with that said, I'm going to have our next speaker come up and give him a virtual round of applause. Thank you. And as he gets come up, just show him some love in the chat, everyone. Thank you guys. You can see our...
Welcome. I hope you're having a great day today. Please give your name and who you're with, and the floor is yours when you're ready.
All right, my name is Donald Quick, and I'm with UE 150. We've been working with y'all for a while. Let's fight for 15. I work in the street maintenance department with the city of Durham, and I, asked the question, who want to organize? Who want to get a union? If y'all want to get a union, then hey, go for it. Because the union does so much more than people think it does. Back in 2019, we had won a step plan, and what it does is when the triangle area get to growing, Durham, Charlotte, Raleigh, Greensboro, what it does, it puts a step plan in place for us to be able to come up when the cities start coming up. It's a step plan, but they attack that, because we don't have collective bargaining, but we can bargain. We don't have collective bargaining, and that's one of the things that we are still fighting for, collective bargaining. But like I say, we can bargain. Also, fighting for better pay, that's one of our top issues. And we continue to strive to be better and getting wages, kicked up, like the fight for 15, which it should be more than 15, because if you look at the triangle area and see how it's growing, Durham, Raleigh, Charlotte, come on, leaders, let's stop this, But like I say, you got to fight them. You got to bargain with them. And in some cases, we didn't get everything that we wanted, but we did bargain with them, and we did come away with some things. So it's a continued fight to get what you want, but you gotta union, you gotta organize, you gotta let them know that, we just not gonna stand by and let y'all continue this. And hats off to the workers at Freddy's when they went on strike and they shut it down and they refused to go to work. I mean, it was a beautiful thing, you know. It was a beautiful thing. So, you know, my hat's off to them for standing up. And that just shows right there that if you come together and you unionize, and I mean, I don't even know if they had a union or whatnot, but they unionized to come together to shut it down. We will not tolerate this no more. That was a beautiful thing, and I loved it. Also, we got unfair discipline, terminations, union, our stewards, and also some of the workers. We come together to fight these unjustly caused when they try to fire people for no unjustly reason, or because they don't like you, or something is going on where they think that, you know, if you say something, what they'll do, they'll try to strike back at you. You know, they want you to keep your mouth closed. Don't say nothing. It's like this, but no, it's not like that. I mean, we had a situation not too long ago where they was talking about not paying us for punching in and whatnot, but when we called down the human resources, everything got changed. So if you know your rights and you know that, you know, what they're telling you is unjust, then don't go for it. Please do not go for it. Also, back in, when was it? That's our STEP plan. I want to speak today about whatever workers need to organize to get a union. You know, our organizer and whatnot, Dante Strabino, I mean, I've been in the union pretty much when I first started with the city. And I tell you, you know, I've learned a lot, I've grown a lot, and I've learned that as long as you stick together, there's nothing that you can't, you know, nothing y'all can't do. Because even with our pay increases and what we're going through, a lot of times they act like the police and fire are the only ones that, you know, they get a plan, theirs goes up regardless, but they don't make the city because you got sanitation, you got water management, you also got street maintenance. If there's no water for the city, then how's the city gonna run? And when something gets, when a main line busts or whatnot, and them guys out there fixing it, and they done worked all this overtime, and then they want to be harsh to them, don't want them to take a day off so they can rest their bodies. You know, that's unfair, man. That's totally unfair. So, you know, as a union, we fought for that, you know. And some workers have got as much as $2,600 increase. Some have got as much as close to $6,000, you know, with this STEP plan. So my thing to fight for 15 is y'all keep up the good work. Also, the heat. It was a brother that back in 2017, yeah, it was a brother that was working a 15-hour shift on the back of a garbage truck, you know, and later on that evening when that brother got home working in 97-degree weather, which, you know, with the heat index, it's hotter. That brother passed away, you know, he died, but they tried to make it sound like, you know, it was a medical condition or whatnot, but we fought for a plan to where when the heat gets so hot that we get out of there, you know. It's like you may work 20 minutes, but you're gonna rest 15 minutes. Or you may work 30 minutes, but you're gonna rest 20 minutes, you know. So the union has really came a long way. And I encourage y'all, you know, whenever y'all can come together and get a union together and whatnot, then I encourage y'all to, you know, get you a union and fight for this thing, because if you don't, you know, like I say, they're gonna keep trying to shove it down your throat, and we are just not we're not having that, you know. So as a Durham city employee, also I'm the secretary for our union. You know, it's always good to fight for, you know, what you want. And the fight for 15, I must say, y'all have came a long way. And if that strike that went on, if that strike didn't show people that you can get what you want, you can get what you want, but the people that's behind all of this, the managers and supervisors and the big bosses, I think that really showed them that, look, we're losing money. We losing money, but think about all the money that they make, the McDonald's, the Burger King, the Hardee's, you know, but you don't want to pay your workers. How can you sleep at night knowing that you're making millions of dollars, but you don't want to pay your workers for the work that they come in there and do faithfully? So I speak to them and say, you know, now it's time to step it up for $15 an hour. And y'all continue to fight for this, you know. So I'm gonna leave y'all with, you know, all the wins that we have got, all the wins that we have got. It's good, but we still strive to be better at what we are doing, you know, because when we win, all the workers win, even the ones that don't want to join the union. And they'll tell you there's not a union, but there is a union. And if you want to join, then, you know, the co-workers out there looking at this and whatnot, call me, call Dante Scabrino, call Miss Nathanette Mayo. I mean, we willing to get you the card so you can sign up and they'll take the dues out. As a matter of fact, in Charlotte, when we started organizing in Charlotte, the sanitation workers, they were the first ones to get the dues took out before the fire and police did. So I know we can get this thing done. And I just want to thank y'all for y'all time. And hey man, y'all continue, you know, love, peace, and soul.
I had a couple of questions.
Yes, ma'am.
We happened to leave. My first question was to go back to the collective bargaining.
Yes, ma'am.
If you were able to have done the collective bargaining the way that y'all wanted to, how do you think that would have benefited you guys?
It would have benefited us in the way like it would have benefited us in the way to where we could bargain with them, like, you know, like I said, when the triangle area starts to grow, you know, the cost of living goes up. So we could bargain, we could get with them, you know, if we don't want to let the bargain, we could sit down with them and say, look, this is what we need for our workers, you know, because the cost of living is going up and we need our workers to come up with the cost of living. But see, now that we won this step plan, you know, we bargain with them, but we don't have collective bargaining. So, you know, they'll always be trying to fight that, you know. Like the year past, we didn't get it because of COVID. And that's when it first really started back in 2019. And we didn't get it. So, you know, there's got to be something in there to make up for what we didn't get, you know. So right now, we had our negotiations and we went to them and, you know, explained to them what we desired, because even when COVID hit, we were still working, but we wasn't getting we wasn't getting the pay like everybody else. I think we got it for like a month, then they stopped it, but we didn't stop working. We kept right on working. And from my understanding, the government was giving, you know, the workers, you know, was paying them, you know, the hazardous pay. We wasn't getting hazardous pay. Like I said, we got it for a month and it stopped.
Right.
So we were still in a hazard condition, but we wasn't getting paid. You know, you could take something home to your son, you could take something home to your daughter, you know, your kids, your family, or whatnot. So that was one of the things that we, you know, we would have loved to have, you know, collective bargaining so we could sit down and bargain for all the workers, not just for us, it was for all the workers. Like it is with the fight for 15. Everybody gets the fight for 15. You know, when it goes up, everybody gets it.
Okay.
So,
Thank you so much, and just so we can end on, what gives you hope?
what gives me hope is knowing that the work that we are doing as a union, it doesn't go unnoticed. When we come together with the fight for 15 and we fight with y'all, that gives me hope that we're going to get to where we need to be. And even when we get there, we still going to fight.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all, man, for the time.
Oh, we have our next person. Welcome. Come in and let us know your name and who you're with.
Hey everyone, my
Right,
name is Celine. I am from the Sunrise Durham Hub, and yeah, can I go ahead now?
Yeah,
Okay.
the floor is yours.
So I'm an indigenous Chicana born and raised in North Carolina, and growing up was hard. You know, I was raised by an amazing chingona single mother who gave it her all and is currently giving it her all. I witnessed her struggle. You know, I witnessed her pain along with her determination to continue, you know, working these long hour shifts in order to sustain her 5 daughters. And, you know, as a child, when I'd go to school and we had conference meetings or we had meet the teacher day, you know, we had the opportunity to have parents come and eat lunch with us. I felt like an outcast, you know, I felt alone because every time I saw those children with their parents, I didn't have that, you know, I couldn't have that because of the situation that we were in. You know, seeing them was like a fairy tale to me. And so, you know, looking back, I understood why I couldn't have that, why I didn't experience that. You know, as I grew older, I realized many things. You know, I came to understand and to forgive my mother for, you know, doing what she had to do in order to provide for us. However, you know, I also realized that that mindset, that cycle that we have, you know, as workers, as family members and whatnot, it's not healthy, you know, it's not good for our communities, our livelihoods, our own selves. And so in that moment, you know, I also, you know, realized that we have to change, you know, we have to, you know, disrupt that stigma, that mindset that is embedded within, you know, our families, our workers, and this whole system. And so I decided, you know, to give my energy and time to these advocacy groups, these organizations, in order to collectively build community within our own community, you know, build support for one another so we can have each other's backs. And now I find myself in this moment, you know, collectively building healthier communal spaces, you know, being surrounded and supported by amazing, determined people who share similar experiences. You know, maybe you as a viewer, you know, are going through something similar. Maybe you're witnessing your own family member going through that, you know, having to suffer in this way, having to, you know, sacrifice their time, their well-being, everything, you know, in order to just sustain themselves and their family members. And so, you know, I don't want to continue witnessing or enduring that harm and pain that our system perpetuates against us, against our communities, against our planet, against our livelihoods. Because you know what? We want to thrive. I want to see my mother thrive. I want to personally thrive. That's why we need to push for the Thrive Act now more than ever. We have to ensure workers have protection rights in order to protect our workers, our communities, our families. We have to ensure the right to unionize for our workers. We want good jobs for all that ensures green jobs because workers' rights is climate justice. They all intersect one another. And that's why I urge you all to come and show up as your authentic self and build safer, stronger communities alongside us because together we heal, we thrive. Thank you.
That was wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah, so, you know, how can, you know, continue in solidarity with your organization, you know,
Yeah.
continue supporting you guys?
Yeah, so, you know, workers' right is climate justice. They all intersect one another because, you know, in the end, it's the system that perpetuates all this harm, whether it be on the workers, on the students, on the communities, and so forth. And so with, the organization Sunrise that I'm part of, we're really, taking direct action to really highlight the issues that this system is creating, the harm that it's creating within these communities. And in that, then it trickles down to like the workers, the people that are, at the front lines being the ones harmed. And, we advocate, we really voice out the concerns in that sense and really push for people to really understand how they intersect and how we connect with one another. And that's why, together, we need to really build that bridge with one another to, strive for that change, for that, sustainable livelihood, those futures that, we want, where we don't want to see our children, our future generations, continue suffering in the ways that we did.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. And there are a few comments right now that, showing you some love. They said, and agreeing with you. We have Cheyenne Jimmy saying, we want to survive. You better say it. We also have Candela Serpa. I hope I said that right. So much love for y'all, especially Celine. We also got Raleigh Workers Assembly saying, workers' rights equals climate justice. And just before we let you go, I just want to ask, what gives you hope?
Yeah, what gives me hope? What gives me hope is literally our ancestors, you all present in this moment, and the ones who are on their way here. Because together, we're building this future for one another, and it has been continuously built since way beforehand. And so that's what gives me hope to just continue building that bridge, continue building that path for what we want.
Now that is amazing. And thank you for coming today.
Thank you.
Thank you all for being on. Thank you. Hey, everyone who's on the live stream, thank you so much for being on. Give a virtual applause, to all of our speakers so far. As you can see behind me, we have Ricky still painting. In a few minutes, I'm actually going to ask him, to talk about the significance about this mural. Is that all right with you, Ricky? Perfect, man. So we'll be getting to that in 1 second. Please, in the chat, put in the comments why we need 15. Tell us where you're watching from. Show some love to each other in the chat. Tell us what organizations you're a part of as well. And, as we do that, I want to continue saying this repeatedly. Put in your calendar. May 19th is National Day of Action. So please put that in your calendar, sign up. We have the website, you can learn more about it as well, because on May 20th is McDonald's shareholders meeting. We got to come out in force and let McDonald's know that we need 15 now. Say it with me, guys, in the chat. We need it now, not later. We need it now. So let's please all join together on that day so we can make sure that workers at McDonald's are being paid fairly, because you can't live off of $7.25. So, with that said, I'm actually going to have Ricky, tell us a little bit, once he's able to put his paintings down, about, this amazing and beautiful mural that some of you actually guys in the chat have pointed out. And Ricky, your art is being noticed. We have a few people saying the mural looks dope, it looks lovely. So yeah, could you tell us a little bit about that? You sit over here. Yes, sir.
Hey. Hello, everybody. Hello, Internet. My name is Ricky. I am a cultural organizer at Audit and Action and a cultural worker here in Durham, North Carolina. This mural that's behind me that I'm painting and currently going to be painting throughout this week is absolutely significant because the meaning, the symbols, and the process behind it is a beautiful negotiation with the workers here at Raise Up 515. I sat down with the worker leaders that we have here, and I brought them a bunch of sketches, bunch of references, and I did something that when I grew up, I didn't get to have, which is the trust of my own creativity. Because I come from a working class family. My parents both work retail, they both work service jobs, and so art always seemed to be fleeting. It seems to be out of touch. You're told you're not creative. So I gave the workers all of these references and the trust to build the symbols that are right behind us right now. I came to them with all kinds of cheesy stuff. Gears are working class, and here's a bunch of cameras, and and industrial stuff, but they showed me to use these golden arches and play with it. They gave me a source of creativity because our workers are an endless well of creativity. That's why I'm a cultural worker today, because I want to be able to empower workers and to show them that there's an endless well of creativity in the movement, and that the movement is a source of art, an endless well of art. And yeah, I'm here today. Anyway.
Thank you so much. And as you know, we kind of see the mural.
Yeah.
We appreciate, doing this. Can you tell us a little about kind of like the signs you're writing, like how you got inspiration for those signs and things like that?
Yeah, we wanted this mural to be also interactive with the workers, right? So we have, basically the inspiration is a lot of Southern painters like Aaron Douglas and other people. And we have like a source of light coming from the middle, if we go up, and organizers pulling people up towards that light. And in the front, we're going to have constantly changing signs. So we have a bunch of stakeholders that are talking today, a bunch of organizations and partner organizations. So as movement evolves, we can paint over these with new signs and new messages that are important to the movement. So it's not just me personally expressing something. It's also something interactive for the workers to come in and paint themselves.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much, Ricky. Thank you. As you continue, painting that, we're gonna have our next speaker. Come and sit right here.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Come in.
Hi.
Tell us who you are and who you're with.
Yes. Hi. I'm just overjoyed. I'm really glad to be at this event. There's a lot of art going on. There's food. It's just amazing. If you can socially distance and come on, definitely come. But my name is Deandra Newsome. I am the state coordinator with Local Progress, and I'm very excited to be here today. I'm going to be a representative for the People's Budget Campaign today and tell you a little bit about our priorities, but also the significance of today. Today is so significant because on May 1st, 1886, marked the day that we started such a movement. And when I say we, I want us to really think about that, because May 1st, 1886, was actually 1 year after slavery technically ended. And so 300,000 workers in Chicago striked and left their jobs to fight against long hours and the working conditions that they were facing. And during that time, they started a movement across the nation, and that's why we're here today. The People's Budget Campaign, we got together because there is a $5.1 billion unreserved fund balance that the state has in their purse strings, and they can use it today, tomorrow, whenever they want to. We have developed that money due to such the high taxes that we have for North Carolinians that we have kept since through the recession. It's just so unfortunate, but our priorities and what I want to share with you today is threefold. And I want you to remember, we're working to expand Medicaid. We're working to have rental and mortgage relief. No more moratoriums. Don't get me wrong. They have served people during this pandemic in such a crisis, but it's time that we give people relief, because we cannot continue to kick the ball down the road much longer. And folks are going to be in mass amounts of debt because of the crisis that we're facing. Our last and final priority that I want to share with you today, which makes it all the more significant of May Day, is worker protections. We are fighting for livable wages for all people. We are fighting for an effective unemployment benefit system. And thirdly, we are fighting for paid leave for all. It just doesn't make sense that facing in a pandemic, facing such a crisis, folks cannot leave their jobs and expect to get paid just because of everything that's going on with their families. And so I'm so excited to be here today. I just love the great energy, and I know I just dived right in. I'll take any questions that you have. The People's Budget Campaign is here for you, and we're trying to build a movement here in our state, because it's a daggone shame. I'm gonna keep it clean, but it's a daggone shame that we have $5.1 billion at our disposal, and our state is not using that money. That money can be used for anything. It can be used to give stimulus checks for North Carolinians. It can be used to have rental relief and then have some left over. So I wanted to share with you all this information today so you can fight with us. And we're gonna need all hands on deck. So I'll take any questions.
I could say that y'all are fighting for some of the things that I wish I had, and that I need, and that I want.
Yes,
and all of the above. Y'all are definitely fighting for some very powerful things. Oh man, I wish I had a question.
All right. Shout out to everyone watching our TikTok, our Facebook, our Instagram. Tune in on our YouTube, our Twitch, and our Twitter. It's important that you are watching. We're trying to build a lot of viewers today and share this information. If there's something that you heard that you did not know, tell your neighbor. Please, we are trying to bring awareness to this issue, and it's going to help us advocate to get that money and use for all North Carolinians the right way.
Okay, I do have a question now. Okay.
Yes.
So if you could have, in a world where you could have everything that you're fighting, how would that change all of society? Because it would definitely change society. How do you think it would change everything if you could get all the things that you're fighting for?
If I could get all the things that I'm fighting for, our capitalist system would not exist. I think everything boils down to how capitalism has ravaged our state of being. That's the only thing some people even understand. And if we could get away from our capitalistic system, I would definitely believe that a lot of more people would be better off. Because not only is capitalism such a horrible thing for all people, it also is based on white supremacy, which is something that we need to continue to name when folks like Tim Scott say that America is not a racist country. We need to hit those issues straight on.
That is yes. yes. And I'm
say it louder for the people in the back. Yes, we need to get rid of capitalism because it's drenched in white supremacy. And if we can't get rid of that, like, it's really difficult to imagine what the state of our world would be where everyone has health care. And not health care where, oh, I go to the doctor when I get sick, but, oh, I'm actually healthy because the state of our society actually cares about my well-being. That every child can have an education that is not determined on their zip code.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's just so many things. Healthcare and education are two things that I'm very passionate about. But like I said, it's a doggone shame that we have the money here in North Carolina to fix some of these things, and we haven't. Beautiful art, health, racial, and economic justice for all. Absolutely, absolutely.
Awesome. I think DeAndre says for people's budget, NC lays out 3 priorities: Medicaid expansion, rental mortgage relief, and paid leave and a livable wage for all people. Yes, exactly. That's exactly what we need. So, first I want to say thank you for sharing. I've already asked this question. What gives you hope?
Oh, what gives me hope is being in spaces like this. You know, as an organizer, sometimes it can feel so lonely. And the pandemic has just exacerbated this because this is actually the first event that I've been to face to face. And we've been trying to be very, very innovative in how to organize during the pandemic because we do want people to be safe. But spaces like this give me hope to know that we're not doing this alone.
Definitely. And thank you for coming.
Yes, so glad that you had me.
To hear from you.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. You can find anything about the People's Budget Campaign by just Google the North Carolina People's Budget Campaign and our website. Our landing page should be coming up, and we are officially launching on Saturday, May 8th. I don't know if y'all caught that. We are officially launching on Saturday, May 8th.
Saturday, May 8th.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Hey everyone. Thank you all for being tuned in. Thank you. Today is International Workers' Day. Let's give a virtual applause to all the speakers we've had so far. Again, I'm going to stress that, look, May 19th is National Day of Action, because May 20th, we have these corporations in McDonald's as a shareholders meeting. They're being greedy. They're holding their money from their employees. They're making billions upon billions of dollars while employees are having a hard time just to make it by. Let's make sure that we stand together in solidarity on this May 19th. We're standing together for workers' rights. We're standing against sexual harassment. We're standing for racial justice. We're standing for all these things. Let's stand together May 19th, and let's all be there to make sure that these people and these companies, especially McDonald's, hears our voice. So with that said, we're gonna have our next speaker coming up. Oh, give me 1 second, y'all. We have a comment. Tell it, this is what we have. It's been needed for a long time, or a lifetime actually. Our jobs gives other people hope, and a hope to sustain a better life. Thank you, thank you. That's exactly, we need to be able to, you know, live at the end of the day. So like I said, with that said, we're gonna have our next speaker come up and give a virtual applause for while she comes up here. Thank you.
Okay. Welcome. How are you today?
Great. How's everybody here?
We are good. Can you give your name, who you're with, and you can go when you're ready.
Sure. Hi, I'm Nancy Sampson. I'm with the Duke University Press Workers Union. And it's really exciting to be here with you guys and celebrate May Day with Raise Up. Why I'm here, and I'm going to start with why I'm here and why I became a union member. I'm employed as a journals production coordinator / project manager at Duke University Press, which is a progressive scholarly publishing company and part of Duke University. So my employees and I are all university employees. The union began to form during the summer of 2019, a time I remember noticing low morale in myself and just in general vibes around the office. Since being hired in 2017, I had a feeling of disconnect from coworkers, even within my own department. Another reason for negative feelings at work was the fact that I had been hired with 20 years experience in publishing, but my pay was not on par with my expertise and remains that way today. I perform well in my role at DUP, but opportunities for professional development are undefined despite my interests. Some employees at my job level were promoted or offered professional development, but I was told, just keep doing what you're doing. I'm a motivated employee and I always give my best. Not being recognized for that is just plain discouraging. My coworkers and I deserve to thrive, not just survive in our workplace. Why not try to make things better on our own terms? After joining union efforts, I have felt camaraderie and validation from my coworkers as we waged our campaign. Despite being under new stresses and further isolation during the pandemic, we continued reaching out and learned more about what we had in common with each other and what we wanted to change at work. Without the support of my union members, I wouldn't be at this event giving my first rally speech. So I believe that all employees deserve that kind of encouragement. Duke University Press Workers announced our intent to unionize on May 29th. And since then, we have gained immense support within our bargaining unit and from community related to our business, including authors and editors of our journals and books, other publishing professionals, professors, and scholars. Unionizing publicly has also gotten the attention of upper management. Very suddenly, in the past month, years overdue promotions, bonuses, and raises were announced. I wonder how they thought of that. They're on the right track, but we deserve more, not just a quick payout. I want the transparency, equity, and community we have built in our union to influence employment policies, workplace culture, and extend from the ground up. Workers have the knowledge and ideas to create structural change. We know a racially diverse and inclusive workplace will strengthen our institution. We want our company to succeed, and worker involvement is the key to that success. At this stage, we have not received an invitation from Duke University to the bargaining table, and we're planning to call for an election. We'd love to have your support through social media. We're on Twitter and Instagram, DUP Workers Union. Please spread the word. Duke should begin contract negotiations with us now.
Okay, that was beautiful. And to ask again, what are some ways that we can support you?
Just showing support as labor and union members, calling on Duke to sit down with us.
So we need some action.
Yeah, action. Calls for action.
You're gonna have to make some noise, is what I'm
hearing. Spread it around.
I definitely hear that. That's something that NC Raise Up does. We like to make some noise.
Yes.
And we're gonna ask the question that we've asked everyone today. What gives you hope?
Just being involved in events like this, just people from different parts of the community coming together around a common cause. That gives me hope.
That is great. Thank you.
Thank
for
you.
coming today.
Oh, it was wonderful. Happy May Day.
Thank you all for still being on. Thank you. Thank you. Today's International Worker Day. Today is May Day. So yeah, everyone that's in the chat, please comment where you guys watching from. Talk to us why you guys think 15 is needed. Please, that's all I want to do. I want to see some of y'all chats right now. And you know, with that said, let's give a shout out to everyone watching from YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, all of them. Shout out to all you guys. Please continue commenting. You know, now we have our next speaker coming up. Give a virtual round of applause for him as well. I'll be seeing you guys soon.
Welcome.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm fabulous. Happy May Day.
Okay, thank you. Give everybody your name, who you're with, and you can start whenever you're ready.
Right on. Hey everyone, my name is James Moore. I'm a member of the North Carolina Medicare for All Coalition. I'm also the co-chair of the NC Triangle DSA. I'm so honored to be here with Raise Up Fight for 15 and with all of y'all on the chat and on the internet to celebrate May Day and to celebrate worker power. Now, worker power is so important to celebrate and emphasize, not just today, but every day, because it is us workers who create that which gives society value. As we've heard earlier, we're the ones who grow the food. We make the food. We serve the food. We build the roads. We fix the pipes. We educate the young. We take care of the sick. We work the cash registers. But despite all that, there are still tens of millions of us across the country and across the world who don't feel powerful at all, particularly since the COVID pandemic started. But let's be honest, even before the COVID pandemic, every single day, tens of millions of us wake up, we say goodbye to our loved ones, we get in our car, we get on the bus, we start our walk to work, and then we spend most of our days, and when you think about it, most of our lives at a place where we generally have little to no say. And that place is the workplace. Now, when I say that there are so many of us who feel powerless right now, that's not the same thing as saying that we're weak. In fact, the opposite is true, particularly if you're in a union. What I am saying is that we've all been born into a society that is rigged so that corporations and the wealthy have power over us workers. This is particularly evident when we look at issues related to both health and worker justice. Now, when I was asked to speak about the relationship between health and worker justice, to me, the relationship between those two things is pretty obvious, right? How can you work if you're not healthy? And on the flip side, how can you be healthy if the nature of your job doesn't allow you to take care of yourself? The problem is, when it comes to those two questions that are so central to not just the health of our bodies and minds, but what we're allowed to do with our bodies and minds, most workers have zero agency. We have no control over how much our healthcare plans cost, what our healthcare plans cover, whether or not we can even keep our health insurance if we get fired or laid off. We have no control over how long we work, how safe it is to even go to work, which we saw during the pandemic, or how much we get paid. I mean, if this sounds like you, speak up in the chat. Now that's the bad news, but don't worry because I have good news. Workers are fighting back. You are fighting back. We are fighting back. And we're not fighting back as individuals. We're fighting, but we are collectively organizing strategic campaigns that aim to empower workers and allow us to reclaim control over our health and over our working conditions. One such campaign is the campaign for Medicare for All. Medicare for All would catch the US up with the rest of the industrialized world by transforming healthcare from a commodity that is bought and sold to a guaranteed human right. It will create a single-payer national health insurance program that will provide every US resident with comprehensive healthcare coverage that is free at the point of service. That means no complicated networks, no premiums, no copays, no deductibles, no surprise bills. It would also expand what Medicare already provides by including dental, hearing, vision, long-term care, mental health and substance abuse treatment, reproductive care, maternity care, and so much more, all free at the point of service. Medicare for All will transform our current for-profit healthcare system. And because of that, those who benefit from our for-profit healthcare system, like the pharmaceutical industry, are deploying significant amounts of wealth and disinformation to stop Medicare for All from becoming a reality. That's why the DSA, Raise Up, and grassroots organizations from across the state have joined forces to form the North Carolina Medicare for All Coalition. This is a coalition that is devoted to fighting for Medicare for all and for fighting to make healthcare a guaranteed human right. But we can't do it by ourselves. We need your help. And yes, I'm speaking to you in the chat. We need your help. So if you believe in Medicare for All, if you live in North Carolina, come join us at www.ncm4a.org or just Google the North Carolina Medicare for All Coalition. Sign up to our listserv and come join our many working groups. Another campaign that my organization, the DSA, has been heavily involved with is a national campaign to pass the Protect the Right to Organize Act, otherwise known as the PRO Act. Now, we've already heard from Austin, Celine, and others about the PRO Act, so I'm not going to relist the particulars. But in broad strokes, as they said, the PRO Act would be one of the most transformative bills when it comes to labor law that we've seen in the past century. It would outlaw right-to-work laws, including in states like ours. It would streamline the process for workers who are trying to organize, and it would make it harder for employers to stop their workers from organizing. So far, the DSA, along with IUPAT, that's the International Union of Painters and Allied Trades, the Communication Workers of America, the AFL-CIO, and so many more groups from across the country have come together to make over 600,000 calls. Let me say that number again. Over 600,000 calls to the voters of senators who have yet to sign onto the PRO Act to urge them to pressure their legislators to sign on. Our goal in the short term is to eventually make over 1 million calls to get the PRO Act passed. And just like with the Medicare for All Coalition, we need your help to get there. To get involved with this campaign, all you have to do is sign up at bit.ly/ProAct phone bank, or just Google DSA ProAct phone bank, and you'll be able to sign up for phone banks in both English and Spanish all week long. Now, when it comes to the North Carolina Medicare for All Coalition or our National ProAct campaign, neither of those efforts would be possible without the thing that lies at the very center of worker power, and that is solidarity. Solidarity is a word that gets thrown around a lot in meetings and in conversations and in email signatures. But to define it more plainly, to me, solidarity is the social expression of love. It is the emotional and public recognition that all of us human beings are connected. And as such, when I think about the potential of solidarity to channel our collective power as workers, I truly believe that solidarity can be one of the most powerful forces on the planet Earth. Right up there with the oceans, earthquakes, volcanoes. With solidarity, we're going to pass Medicare for All, We're going to win the PRO Act. We're going to win 15 and a union. And we're finally going to reclaim control over our lives as workers and over our lives as human beings. So with that, let me close by saying solidarity, solidarity, solidarity forever. Happy May Day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing. So, we want to ask you a question that we've asked every speaker who's had so far. So, what gives you hope?
Y'all, raise up. I mean, the people who are coming out of a world that does so much to separate us from each other. And despite all that, despite a pandemic, us coming together to fight for workers and to fight for our rights. That's what gives me hope.
Thank you.
you
so much. We appreciate you being on.
Thank you all.
Virtual applause, virtual applause.
And we have our next person up to do a poem. We have Tremaine.
Hi everybody, my name is Tremaine Toney, and I am with NC Raised Up, and I am going to do a poem that I wrote called I Can't Breathe, in memory of George Floyd. Tell me, why do you have your knee on my neck when I never showed you disrespect? Stop, I can't breathe. I cried to you, but you ignored my cry. You just pushed your knee harder into my neck until I died. Stop, I can't breathe. I saw my mother as I died. She was there with her arms open wide. Stop, I can't breathe. You took my life with your knee in my neck, and I still never showed you any disrespect. Stop, I can't breathe. My mom grabbed me and took me home. And even though I left my loved ones all alone, now I can breathe. I wrote this poem for May Day and for George Floyd because we are standing up for workers' rights and we're standing up against violence and injustice against all.
That was beautiful.
That was so
Thank
beautiful.
you.
Thank you.
That was awesome. Oh. Hello again. I am back. Give me a second. Okay. Now I am back. And again, as we've said many times throughout today, we are getting prepared for May 19th. It is our day of action. It is going to be the biggest action ever. And we need everybody to come out so we can fight and stand against McDonald's. And now we have our next speaker coming. Welcome.
Welcome. Sit down. Please introduce yourself. Tell us who you're with.
Yeah, so I'm Ajamu Dillahunt. I'm with the Southern Workers Assembly. Southern Workers Assembly is happy to greet everyone on May Day. Our organization is a network of local unions and workers' organizations and organizing committees that's dedicated to building rank and file worker structures in industry across the South that will be connected to workers' assemblies, to community groups and social movements who are fighting against those conditions that the working class and oppressed communities have to face. And we're also lifting up the consciousness of the labor movement in the South. So I bring you greetings on International Holiday for Workers, May Day. It's the celebration of the international working class. And I can't go without saying that this is the second anniversary of the historic march in Raleigh organized by the North Carolina Teachers Union that brought 20,000 people into the streets to fight for the rights of education workers, students, and parents. From Earth Day on April 22nd to Workers' Memorial Day on April 28th to May Day on May 1st, we see a clear line of struggle for the working class. Today, the working people of the country and the world celebrate each other. We identify our challenges and our enemies, and we continue the struggle to fight for the end of exploitation, oppression, and to save the earth from destruction by the forces of 21st century capitalism. What's the situation today? There are 4 factors I would bring up. We're in the midst of a worldwide pandemic and public health crisis that's made it clear that not only are we essential workers, but we're essential to the country working. It also brings out the fact that we have a public health system that's in shambles and that the for-profit medical care is killing us one by one. We're also in the midst of an economic crisis for the 99%, and the corporations in this country have made out like bandits, earning record-breaking and obscene profits. And then there's the white supremacists and state violence against Black and brown people expressed through police murders that are leading to uprisings all across the country. The people of Elizabeth City, North Carolina, today are engaged in the fight for justice for Andrew Brown, who was murdered by the police almost 2 weeks ago. And then there's a growing fascist movement that's aimed at seizing government and ending any and all democratic rights of the non-white population. Although not in the media limelight today, they're still with us and remain a serious danger. And we must remain alert and prepared politically and otherwise. May Day comes on the heels of the courageous campaign of the workers at the Amazon plant in Bessemer, Alabama, who decided they had had enough bad treatment and took on the world's second largest corporation. They organized to bring in a union, the Retail, Wholesale, and Department Store Union. The workers faced the power of the company to use work time to hold captive audience meetings, to pressure workers to vote against their own interests. They hired powerful union-busting lawyers to assist them. They used the police and the postal service to interfere with the election by organizing, changing traffic pattern, and putting mailboxes in places where the company could see who was actually voting. And although the first election was a loss, over 1,000 workers voted to have power on the job, to be able to bargain for wages and to fight for better safety and health conditions on the job. Brothers and sisters, this is just the beginning. Amazon workers across the country are thinking about how they will tackle the ugly face of 21st century capitalism. And what is most notable is that this first salvo occurred in the US South, the most underdeveloped region of the country with the lowest percentage of unions and a large Black workforce. It brings to life our current and historic call for organizing the South. The Southern Workers Assembly helped to organize solidarity efforts around the country on February 20th, and is developing a network of solidarity committees in the South to help Amazon workers build workplace committees in their fulfillment, sortation, and distribution centers. Strong workplace committees are fundamental to organizing, and we want to assist workers and activists in building them, whether in Alabama or Georgia, North Carolina or Mississippi, all over the South. Workplace committees connected to workers' assemblies in cities and towns, that's our work. For those in the South who are interested in this effort, we are holding the second of 4 worker schools tomorrow under the title of Organizing in the 21st Century Capitalism. For more information, you can go to Southern Workers Assembly and contact us that way. And so in conclusion, I'd just like to say to folks, power to the workers on May Day, long live workers' solidarity, and resist and fight 21st century capitalism. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that. There are a few questions that I would like to ask you. My first question will be, how can we stand in solidarity with Amazon workers right now?
Well, there are a couple of ways. I think just stay alert to what kind of organizing is going on in your community. As I said before, even though the election was lost in different cities around the country, committees are being built to actually help workers. So if you know workers who work at Amazon, put them in touch with us. If you hear about a solidarity committee growing in your area, put them in touch with us. If you know people who are going to work at Amazon, put them in touch with us. But stay alert and don't be driven away by the lure of the package industry. I know everybody is using the Amazon during this crisis, but that doesn't mean that you can't help the workers organize for better conditions on the job.
You're 1000% correct on that. Thank you. Before we let you go, we always ask this question to everyone who's been speaking today. What gives you hope?
Well, what gives me hope is young people like you and all those young people outside that are making signs and having fellowship with each other on this May Day. The people in the streets of Elizabeth City, the young people, the people all over the country from last May up until now who have been rising up against, the system. All of these things give me a great hope. And I think, we're going to win. We just need to organize.
1000% correct. Thank you so much for being here, Mr. Bella, and you have a blessed day. See you later on.
Thank you.
Happy May Day.
Okay. Happy May Day.
Oh, that was awesome. And it was great to hear from him. Oh, sorry. And again, as we can't stress enough, on May 19th, we are having a day of action against McDonald's for all of the things that is basically unfair that we're dealing with them. Sorry, my brain is leaving me. But we have our next speaker coming up, and she got some great things to say.
Thank you. Welcome. Please, state your name, tell us what organization you're with.
Hey, my name is Shanae. I'm with the Fight for 15, and I'm basically fighting for better, safer work conditions. I'm also fighting for health care to be provided by these million-dollar companies that we are putting our life on the line for. Every day that you take the time to either catch that bus or get in your car to do a due service for a company that could really care less about the health care that you are provided, especially during this pandemic. You need to take the time to really look at the investment that you're giving to these companies. They're making thousands of dollars a day while we, unfortunately, are dying by the thousands a day. Most of this pandemic is caused at the workplace, and unfortunately, we are not having our voices heard in the workplace about safer conditions. I worked at the Waffle House for about 2 years, especially the start of the pandemic was really where I felt it. It was a lot less service, but a lot more work that needed to be demanded and done with less pay. And it's exhausting. On top of the pandemic is a risk of your life. These unsafe work conditions are also not provided with any protection from these companies. An example, I had a coworker that was shot by a customer at work and nothing was done about it. The company did not pursue the actual criminal that shot him, and neither did they compensate for that actual loss of pay. Things need to change. We can no longer sit by and think that, okay, I have a job. That is no longer worth your life. We have to demand that if companies are well enough to open up and do a due service for their customers in order to make the money that they need to survive for their family, then they need to do a due service for their employees by providing health care, by providing better pay by providing safer conditions for us to work in. It's not fair that we're working 40 hours, 80 hours a week and not allowed to go to the doctors when there is a pandemic going on. Who pays my rent when I am sick? Who take care of my daughter when I need to lose hours from work because I'm sick? Who takes care of daycare fees when I'm sick? I'm tired of feeling like I just have a job and I need to shut up. It's not right that these companies are open and making millions of dollars while their employees can't pay rent or put food on their children's tables. I just want to basically give a challenge to whoever's listening today to care enough to speak out. Even if you're happy at your job and you feel that your pay is still worth it, you have family, you have children, you have generations out here that are happy being a fast food worker. They just need better treatment, better pay, better health care, and better working conditions. I challenge you to care enough to speak out, to fight for 15. Thank you.
That was beautiful. And I do have a question for you.
Yes.
My question for you is, since today is May Day and we're celebrating worker power, what does worker power mean to you?
Worker power means numbers. We need the more people that come together to fight, to speak. That is worker power, because we can work together to make mountains move.
Also, the question that we've asked everyone today is, what gives you hope or what keeps you going?
What gives me hope? My daughter, my life, my family. I want to live and I deserve to have a better life. I deserve to have better treatment. That gives me drive every day.
Well, thank you for coming and speaking with us
Thank
today.
you for having me. I was hoping my hair wasn't too wild. My window won't roll up. It was horrible for 2 hours here.
You look great.
But for everyone on live stream, she came from Charlotte to be on, y'all, from Charlotte. So let's give another virtual applause for
Yep,
her.
she came all the way from Charlotte to come and speak with you guys today. And we're gonna give another shout out to everyone watching on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Write your name and where you're watching from in the comments, because I know we have to have some new people. I would love to hear from you. Oh, we have Keeny Williams that says that is the minimum. You are not asking too much. Healthcare, better pay, better working conditions. Thank you for speaking up for us. And I would think she would give a thank you, because that's definitely something that we need. And we have a Ren Erie, I think is how we said the last name. And we have an all the way from Charlotte. Thank you for being here again. And we have our next speaker coming up. Welcome. Thank you. And you have a seat.
Okay.
Your name and who you are working with.
Sure. Do I keep mask on? Like, how do I do this?
If you want to, it's your call.
Okay. I feel like seeing my face would allow for
And
it
the floor
to come across better. So my name is Gila Smith, and I am a member of the National Domestic Workers Alliance, and also our subgroup, We Dream in Black. As you can see, that's what my shirt says. And I've been in the healthcare field for decades at this point, seems like. But I was a CNA for 8 years, and after graduating, I quickly realized that I could not work in the facilities, not for the pay that they were paying people. It's ridiculous. Like, it's sad. It's what I call putting people in poverty legally. because they literally are paying people pennies. So I contracted my work, and that was like one of the best decisions ever. Any CNAs, LPNs, if I can link up with you guys and tell you guys how to contract your work and really get the pay that you deserve and be able to do the work that you deserve, come holla at me. But COVID hit, Corona hit, the pandemic hit. And even though I contracted my work with my clients, a lot of the clients still lived in these facilities, whether they be nursing homes or, you know, any type of assisted living. So I could not go into them anymore. I literally went from having my books filled, as far as my clientele, to zero when the pandemic hit. So definitely an anxiety and panic attack, because I couldn't work in these facilities for $7 to $10 an hour. Children and real bills. So I had to make the choice of going back into the healthcare field, but doing so administratively, but still advocating for, again, at the very least, $15 an hour. And that's at the least. And that should have really been like 10 years ago, in my opinion. But yeah, no, if we band together, if we unionize, we get our state and our cities to push, like we can do this. It's an absolute must. Like we can't continue to let this linger on, because we have generations coming behind us, and we need to make it better for them. So that's my spiel. Bye, everyone.
That was amazing. And before you leave, I'm going to ask you the question that we've asked everyone. What gives you hope?
What gives me hope? My son. My son. And just linking with really, really good-hearted people who move from a place of integrity. So anytime you guys can, drop those jewels, you know, be the hope for somebody else, because what you need, someone else does need as well. So show yourself. So
thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone who's been on stream this whole time. Thank you. Already a little bit past 2. So, yeah.
I want to thank everyone that has stayed on with us or that has tuned on today from TikTok and Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and Twitch and all over the internet. This is everywhere today.
Thank you.
This is for workers like you.
Exactly. And just put in the comments one more time, you know, why you asking 15 is important. And Sheree, I think we need to emphasize what's going on May 19th. What is it?
It is our day of action. We are standing up against McDonald's Corporation and their shareholders, because they're basically having conversations without us. They're having conversations without their workers. And they're trying to make more money without giving more money. And that's just not fair to the people that tirelessly work at their jobs. And we also want to fight against their sexual harassment issues that they've had there, and their unsafe conditions that they've had in their jobs, and them having managers that have them do the craziest amount of things and don't want to give them anything for it.
Exactly. That's why we're going to be there on May 19th. So yes, we'll be seeing everyone there. Please go to that link that you see below. And yes, we'll be seeing you all there. So, you know, with that said, you know, worker power is when we all get together. So thank you all. I guess we can look at the mural one more time. Let's get up so they see the mural. It will be finished super soon, y'all. Super soon, this lovely mural. And yeah, give us a follow on social media, Facebook, Twitter, subscribe on YouTube, things like that. Please stay in touch and stay in tune, because we have a lot of events on the way. Thank
Also, worker power is the answer.
Exactly. Thank you all. Goodbye now.